Hi guys, happy Friday. We have made it to the end of the week almost. Hope it has been well for you all. So a couple things before we get too far into what we are going to be doing today. I just want to remind you guys that I am available for Zoom meetings if you guys need them. Um, During the day, I have my prep period from I think it's 9:30 to like 10:20. So if you're up and need help over that day's lesson or the previous days or whatever, let me know that you want to get on and I can set one up for you and we can talk about whatever is throwing you off. So I just want to throw that out there as well. The other thing is there is, at the end of this module, there is a article from the New York Times. That article talks about what we're going to be talking about today with the partition of India. Um, it's a little long, so I'm not going to like force you to read it. But if you find this interesting at all, or just want to learn a little bit more, that is a good article to read as far as personal experiences with what happened in the partition. So again, it's not a required reading. There won't be any questions on it or anything like that, but it's more of a, if you would like an extra source of information on it, I have the link to it at the end of this module for you all. So without further delay, let us get started with what we're doing today, and that is the partition of India. Yesterday we talked about two men, Mohandas Gandhi and Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and their takes on how India should be divided after the British rule. One thing we didn't talk about, though, was how they determined how to divide up India. What information did they use? Who divided it up? And why did the British decide all of a sudden they wanted to get out of India? So the map you see here, if you can read some of this, kind of breaks down a couple things. Down here, it breaks up the total percentage of people who practice a certain religion in India. And as you can tell, a vast majority, I think that's 82%, are Hindu. Okay, and then the next biggest majority are Muslims. So that's where we're going to focus a lot of our information on today is this religious situation between Hindus and Muslims. So in after World War II, 1945-46, the British decide that India, they don't have the money, basically, to maintain and control India. India had a growing independence movement, which we talked about yesterday with Gandhi and Jinnah, both of them very active in the Indian independence movement. And so the British realized pretty quickly after World War II that one, they don't have the money for this. Two, they don't have the interest in this anymore. They want out. And so they decided, or they announced that they would be leaving India at the end of 1947. Okay, so basically they're saying in like about a year and a half, we are leaving India and we'll let you all figure out how this is going to happen. So they bring in a guy by the name of Lord Mountbatten, I believe is his name. And he basically says, actually, we're going to leave in like 3 months. So y'all figure it out. The British, in their very bad attempt to make things better, bring in a lawyer by the name of Cyril Rhodes, I believe is his name, to draw up the new borders for India and Pakistan. The problem is with Mr. Rhodes, no offense to him, he's never been to India before. Never stepped foot in India up until a month before the British are supposed to leave. And he says, hey, and he's given the task of, hey, draw a border. He's given a little over a month to divide roughly 400 million people at a time into two separate countries. Obviously, that's a little bit of a tall order. So he starts looking at old census data, old religious maps, and he decides that he is going to draw the border based on percentage of people who practice a certain religion. If a province or territory is majority Muslim, that would become part of Pakistan. If it was a majority Hindu or another religion known as Sikh, it would remain in India. And so that is where this Mr. Rhodes, I believe, draws his original border between India and Pakistan based off of percentage of religious affiliations. The problem is, there's two problems. One, the census data he's using is extremely outdated. It's very old, outdated. And two, he doesn't take into account that there are Hindus living in Pakistan and also Muslims living in India. And so once it's announced that this is the border, there is a mass migration of people going to the respective countries. The problem is there had already been a growing distrust between Hindus and Muslims in India for some time. And as these people start crossing back and forth, violence breaks out. And over the course of a year or two, over 1 million people are killed, and about another 14 million are displaced or moved from their homes. So just absolutely chaotic. Both sides blame each other, and it's just a mess. Now, that is a very brief outline of what happened. The module here, you'll notice, has a couple parts. This Partition of India Vox video. The video itself, I believe, is 17 minutes, but you do not need to watch the full 17. Start watching the video at about 5:30, 5 minutes, 30 seconds or so, and you can stop around 9:20, 25. So about 4 minutes of it is all you need to be worried about. The next part is where your assignment comes in. What are you doing? I don't know what it's doing. Okay. Your assignment for today involves reading these three documents here. Timeline, and then document A and B as well. I believe, and I'll double check here, that the immersion reader, maybe not. Okay, let me try and see what I can. No, I don't want that. Okay, let's try one more time. I thought that the immersion reader would allow you to go through and have this read to you. I will work on that, and I will see what updates I can give you all. So your assignment involves you reading these three documents and then answering the questions that go with it. And I'll go through and read those for you real quick before we get too far. So question 1 uses a timeline to help you with this question. When was the idea for a separate homeland for Muslims introduced? The 1930s, 1945, 1947, or 1941? Question 2 uses a timeline to help you with this question as well. Who was one of the biggest supporters of the idea of a Muslim state? Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Gandhi, Lord Mountbatten, or Nehru? Question 3, use document A to help you. Who gave this speech and who was his intended audience? Question 4, using document A again. Why does Jinnah support the idea of a separate state for Muslims? Question 5, document B. What are 2 reasons the speaker gives as to why they are opposed to the creation of a separate state for Muslims? Okay, and then question 6, which I believe is the last one. Use both A and B to help you answer this question. Both Jinnah and Nehru are writing before Great Britain has granted India independence. In other words, the argument over whether India should be split is occurring against the backdrop of a fight for Indian independence. How might this context have affected what Jinnah and Nehru are saying in their documents? And then that is the assignment for today, and then the attendance quiz is on the next page. I will get back to you all on figuring out how the immersion reader will hopefully allow you to have that read to you if you would like to use it. Otherwise, that is all I have for you all. If you guys have any questions or want to set up a Zoom meeting, just let me know and I will help you set that up or answer questions you may have. Other than that, I hope you all have a good weekend and I will see you all tomorrow.